20, it's just a random number I came up with, threw it out there. If it's too easy, fuck it, go for 50. Go for 100. I just threw it out there real quick. I wanted to make this quick video. Give you guys something else, something different. Alright, let's go. Oh. Fucked up. You know what? Since you're doing advance, that one don't count. Look, I should start all over, but that one, I won't count that one.
Oh shit,
I messed up.
I put that half
Still. Hands up.
Blooper. They got a little background music. That shit hooked me up.
That's it. Go at your own pace. I would say push it, but these push yourself. Push yourself. Don't cheat yourself, treat yourself. But you don't want to fall out or, learn about your body. Learn where your strengths and weaknesses are, Be smart about it too, though. That doesn't mean not to push yourself. Push yourself. So I'm only going to get gains. Get mentally tougher, stronger, spiritually, and of course physically.
I've never been part of a conspiracy, but I'm starting to think this is what it must feel like to be on the outside of one.
If you stray outside the designated areas, you will be removed from the island. It's recommended you wear a hijab when visiting your client. We've had incidents of inmates spitting at female lawyers.
You want to represent the head recruiter for 9/11?
Mohamedou Ould Slahi, the Mauritanian held in Guantanamo. He recruited the guys who flew your friend's plane into the South Tower.
You put those men on my husband's plane?
I'm going to make him pay.
In the event the detainee lunges for you, push back away from the table. We'll get in there as quick as we can.
I'm Nancy Hollander. This is my associate. We wish to represent you.
We are seeking the death penalty, but if we miss something, this guy goes home. Let's get to it.
Call this number. Speak to my mother. Tell her, something nice.
The U.S. government is holding upwards of 700 prisoners in Guantanamo. Since when did we start locking people up without a trial in this country?
That's a lot of case files.
The prosecution won't show us the evidence they have against you. It's all redacted.
You got a problem, take it up with the government.
All my time here, I've been told you are guilty. Not for something that I have done, but because of suspicions and associations. I am innocent.
He has been interrogated. He has been held against his will for 6 years without a single charge being laid against him.
Doesn't it bother you at all working for something like this?
I'm not just defending him. I'm defending the rule of law.
You haven't seen what I've seen.
Where I'm from, in Mauritania, we know not to trust the police. But never did I believe that the United States of America would use fear and terror to control me.
A couple sleepless nights, that's all. I've never been part of a conspiracy, but I'm starting to think this is what it must feel like to be on the outside.
You're ever thinking this? Either wear the jersey or get off the field.
You need to tell me what happened to you. I can't defend you. Do you understand that?
You asked me to set fire to this place, but I'm still sleeping.
Maybe he's guilty.
Maybe he is. We're doing our job.
I'm not welcome home. That's not a part of my job.
If I'm wrong, when it comes to my reckoning, I'm the one that'll have to answer for it.
What makes you think you're any better than the rest of us?
I don't think I'm better than anybody else. That is the point.
For 8 years, I have been dreaming of being in a courtroom. Now that I'm here, I'm scared to death.
You know, I think I figured out why they built Guantanamo down there. My client, he's not a suspect. He's a witness.
Mr. Slahi, would you please raise your right hand and repeat after me?
The Mauritanian.
$7.7 million people signing up to use this, but the latest thing that you're introducing, it kind of proves how important it is to take advantage of long-term compounding, annual interest on your investments. $5 a day to help a baby have what, $70,000 by the time they are 18. Tell me more about this.
So we just launched Acorns Early, which is our first foray into the kids space. And prior to this, the earliest you could open up an Acorns account was 18 years old. Now you can open up an Acorns account as early as birth. And when you think about the compounding power there, if you start at 18 years old and do $5 a day, which is easy to do on Acorns, by retirement, you'd have near $1 million, $1.5 million. If you start as early as birth, you could have over $4 million by retirement.
Hi, Noah. Great to see you. I think it was back in our New York City studio that you announced that $1 billion assets under management. So congratulations on this new milestone. As you think about this current environment and the economic crisis that so many Americans are dealing with, I remember one of the statistics you had mentioned is some of the surprising demographics that use Acorns are construction workers, or perhaps very low-income folks who are looking to round up their change in some capacity. What kind of information are you seeing right now as so many layoffs and furloughs have been happening?
Well, as an example with this product, so half of our parent customers aren't saving for their kids. So if you think about that and you think about intergenerational wealth, setting the next generation up for success, that's a big problem. And by the way, the half that are, the majority of those are saving in cash and savings rather than investment accounts. So when I think about how to make improvement in the future and how to really set up the next generation for success, parents have to be investing in their kids, and they have to be investing in their kids through investment accounts. Otherwise, they're not going to benefit from compounding.
Noah, there's also trillions of dollars that the older generation is about to bequeath to the younger generation. Is there a way that someone who's part of an Acorn account could take advantage of, I forget the exact name of it, but the Uniform Gift Management account? Or is there a way that works into it, the UGMAs?
Yeah, so the investment account is a UGMA. And so parents can invest in their own kids, but anybody can set up an investment account for kids with this product. So it can be uncles, aunts, godparents.
Could an uncle or could a grandparent, if they are fortunate to have extra cash, put a certain amount of money into that to get the kids started? I mean, is there a cap on that?
That's right. No, there's no cap and there's no minimum. It's the easiest way to invest in your kids, hands down.
What kind of transfer of wealth can you share with us? Are you seeing that happen, whether it be from uncles or from grandparents to kids?
We're just actually officially launching today. So our hope is that this goes really big and people really take advantage of it. Because again, to change the future, you've really got to start investing in your kids. And by the way, like I said, you know, Adam, you can invest in a kid's account. You can invest in a neighbor's kid's account. You don't have to actually be the parent. So it's a wonderful opportunity.
And again, you were saying $5 a day. I think that roughly about $1,800 a year. We appreciate your being here, Noah Kerner, Acorn CEO. Look forward to the next update from you.
Thank you.
kind of apologize to you guys, but I'm multitasking. I'm trying to explain and teach and do it at the same time. No excuses. But at the end, I'll do one extra, just in case if I did miss anything or whatever. 6. Okay, I get a lot of questions. Why do you eat your stomach? I'm gonna explain it again. It's like a bad habit. I want my stomach and core to be used to the impact. Say you get hit or kicked in the stomach. It's just the way I think. I want to be ready for war. Again, it's like a bad habit. But I just want them to at least have the idea or be prepared if I ever gets hit, you know what I mean? Same thing with your chest and all that. You know, so that's why I do it. It's just war ready. That's just me. You don't gotta do it if you don't want to. Doing this with me, we can either be, I always say let's do it together. You guys at home watching or doing this routine with me, when I go down, you go down. If not, pistons. When I go down, you stay up. When I come up, you go down. Do your set. These are called commando burpees. Yes, you gotta do your push-up. Do your push-up and again, do the Navy SEAL and all that. Lost count again, dog. My fault, guys. All you guys 3. The end. I think I'm on 17. Fucking up. It's my fault. Oh, 3 more. You guys 3 more. Give it everything. Give it everything you got. Shooting the video, Dad. Shooting the video. Ah. 1. Pops coming through. finish off with 23 regular single pump burpees. Knees to your chest when you come up. It's 23 single. With the rocking chairs. Fuck it. Let's go. 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. Let's go. 1. Get everything you got, guys. 2. 3. 4. Make sure you stop recording. 4. 5. See them. 6. 7. 8. Let's go. Let's go. 9. Let's go. Let's go. 20. Let's go. 3 more, baby. 3 more. 23, baby. That was a good one. All right, guys. I hope this helped some type of way. Excuse for interruptions. It's a raw video though. It's real shit. Quick advanced burpee routine. Try it out. Tell me what you guys think and tell me about you guys' progress. If it gets too easy, switch it up. Not do more. But keep fighting the fight. God bless. Shout out to my kids, Lion Angel. Love you guys. To the YouTube family, all you guys. To the family and homies. Love you guys still. Keep fighting the fight. I'm out.
Well, currently my favorite song is Fitness Blues, which I wrote about 6 months ago. And it goes, I ask myself this every day. It goes, should I work out or should I take a rest? I don't know what to do, but I want to look and feel my very best. So I think I'll train because I still got fat to lose. But I think I got the fitness blues. Fitness blues, we all get them.
Welcome to Escape Your Limits podcast. Today, our guest is a three-time Mr. Olympia, Fitness Hall of Famer, and bodybuilding legend. Few people have beaten Arnold Schwarzenegger at anything, let alone done it at the top title in the greatest bodybuilding competition on the earth. But this gentleman, who's synonymous with bodybuilding because his incredible emphasis on aesthetics, symmetry, and muscle proportion. It's this attention to detail that has ensured he's not just a name of yesteryear with an incredible physique, but still an inspiration to millions through his mind, body, and spirit in anything he does. So today, we welcome Mr. Frank Zane to the Escape Your Limit podcast.
Well, thanks very much.
And thank you for inviting me into your fitness studio. It's
my pleasure.
Quite a special place. So, Frank, everybody, well, I'm sure everybody's heard of the name, but I guess not everybody's probably familiar with the story up until when you were competing. I wondered if just to give us a bit of context, whether you'd tell us a little bit about how you got into that line of sport and what was a bit of your background.
Well, I started out, it seems like everything that I've stuck with in my life occurred at age 14, and bodybuilding was one of those things. It was bodybuilding, archery, Boy Scouts, yoga, meditation, playing harmonicas.
Right.
All those, and I'm still doing all of those things to some extent. And so I discovered bodybuilding, and it ended up with buying a set of dumbbells and working out in my basement, and I saw muscles coming out in 2 weeks. Came in handy because I lived in a sort of a tough area, and my younger brother was always mouthing off and getting in fights, and I would end up finishing him. So once I started training, that disappeared because I had the look of somebody being, big and built. So I didn't have that problem anymore, and I just liked doing it. It felt really good. And then I discovered there was such a thing as contests, bodybuilding physique contests. So I trained for one and went to it. It was near Allentown, Pennsylvania. And while it was a novice contest, and there was like 50 guys in it, and I was pumping up backstage, ready to go on stage, and Bob Hoffman, the father of American weightlifting, was there, because these are all weightlifting contests all day long, and at night they'd have the physique.
Right.
And Hoffman came over to me and he said, "Young man, if I had a physique like yours, I'd walk around with my shirt off all the time." And that was enough for me to hear, and I believed him, that I would be the greatest at one time. So basically that was one of those things that somebody tells you at a time in your life when you're very impressionable,
right,
and it serves to motivate you for the rest of your life, and it did.
So when you were younger, going on this sort of journey, where did you go to learn how to get in shape in terms of, where did you learn about how to work out and what to eat? What was your inspiration or mentors at that time?
The closest place. I grew up in Pennsylvania, and there were some people trained there, and I trained with them. We got motivated and everything, and then teaching in different cities, basically I just built programs up where I was.
Right.
Then I moved to Florida, and that was a really stepping my training up to a new level. Trained there for 3 years, and then moved to Southern California, which was where it was happening then.
Right.
And that's when it really took off in 1969, when I landed in Southern California.
Right.
And, just every year, I was still teaching there. 8 years I taught in California. And in the meantime, built up my business. I had a mail order business. And, conditions for training got better and better and better. And got to the point where it was just perfect, and I took advantage of it and did my best training and won.
So in terms of your conditioning then, did you know, were you, I guess, naturally conditioned most of the time, or did you have to learn about how to get your body ready for shows and get lean? How did you deal with that part?
Well, I was lean to start. I was always a skinny kid.
Right.
And so for me, it was just about putting on muscles. I learned that by doing heavy leg work and squatting, I was able to build my legs up and my body weight. And gradually everything else came up too.
Right.
So I ended up competing at 5'9", competing at around 190 pounds.
Right.
Which was my perfect weight for that.
Yeah.
And, I won the Olympia 77, 78, 79. Before that, I won a universe 3 times. And, it was just a gradual growth process and learning along the way and training with a lot of different people and learning from them.
Yeah.
So.
And how much of it was genetics compared to good training? Yeah, if you look at, we talked about it earlier in terms of nutrition, genetics and training. How much emphasis was on each part of that, do you think?
There's always that question, heredity and environment, so I don't really know the percentage. But basically, when you talk about your genetics, I divide that into 2 parts. One is structure, bone structure, muscle structure, and metabolism, your ability to turn food and exercise into muscle.
Right.
And so I think I was fortunate in the structure part, not that I had a big structure, I had very small bones, but I had a good structure for bodybuilding, small hips and wide shoulders, wide clavicles. And so, Steve Reeves was my bodybuilding idol. I really looked up to him in that development and sort of patterned my training after what I thought he did. And, as far as metabolism, my metabolism wasn't the best as far as just naturally. There's some guys I know that have such good metabolisms for this. They can walk past the barbell rack and get a pump from that. But not me. I had to work hard and find out all the intricacies, and I did. And I learned what was best for me, and it evolved over the years.
Right.
I took photos along the way and studied them and made changes, and it worked.
Yeah.
I learned it wasn't about how big I could get because I couldn't get that big, but I tried certain years, and it didn't work as good as I thought it would.
Yeah.
And I ended up just going for getting more shape and definition and lines and proportion and all that, presentation. And it was a lot of work, but it paid off finally. That's the thing is I have a lot of perseverance for things I do. I hang on and do them for a long time because I enjoy them. But in the process, I get really good at it.
Yeah.
And one of the things I have is focus. I have really tremendous focus. I'm not asking to do multitasking, is my saying, but I can focus on one thing and really zone everything else out. And that's why I'm good at this.
Yeah.
Because when I do a set, I'm totally there for it.
Right.
Work out.
Right. And how many times a week were you working out when you were at your peak?
3 days out of 4.
3 days on, 4.
2 days on, 1 day off. I do a 3-way split routine, work a third of my body each time. Right. Then rest on the 4th day.
Right.
Now I don't do anywhere near that because I'm 75 now and I don't really need much. I'm lighter, I'm leaner. I don't need as much. I don't even need as much sleep. If I get 1 upper body workout a week, that's 1 leg workout, 1 upper body workout. That's adequate for me.
Right. And how long were your workouts at that time? What sort of?
Then 2 hours usually.
Really?
Maybe more sometimes. Maybe twice a day sometimes.
Right.
I mean, I wrote everything down. That's the thing is I was a chemistry major in college when I started out. And I earned the nickname the chemist because my approach was like that. I kept track of everything. I kept journals.
Right.
And so I published books like that. I have one called The Workouts that's on Kindle now.
Right.
190 workouts that I actually did over a period of 4 years' time, arranged in order. Some of them are pretty horrific, I mean, as far as what I actually did. And I actually offered a prize to somebody who could duplicate those workouts, and nobody ever did it.
No.
I mean, it's what I did over a 40 years period of time, condensed into 1 year. I think maybe some young guys can do this, but nobody ever tried it. But in the meantime, I've come out with other books that have been very successful. 91 Day Wonder Body is one of them.
Right.
It's 3 months of what to do every single day for the workout. And it goes through all the workouts I've written about. There's 18 different ones, from full body routine to 2-way split to 3-way splits. And it progresses through all of them. And you write it all in the book. It tells you how to eat, what to eat as well. So it gives people a really good guide as to what to do.
Right.
Answers the question, will you make up a routine for me? Here it is.
Yeah, it's already there.
I've made it up and I've reproduced it as a book, so it's there for everybody.
And we talked earlier about your leg machine, and you were talking about the emphasis against really heavyweight, and it was just more about form. When you were again sort of at your peak, were you putting heavyweight to sort of get that to build that muscle, or were you?
I was.
You was, okay.
I was training heavy because that was what was in vogue at the time, but we never did what we call now slow negatives.
Right.
Where you lower the weight back to starting position much more slowly. Than it was all about getting the weight up.
Okay.
You know, forced reps and all that stuff. And for bench press would be basically like that, you know. And now what I went to eventually was slow negatives like that.
Right.
Negative, always slower than the positive. I still do that because you're stronger on the negative, and so go slower, get more resistance. Otherwise, you're only getting a muscular contraction for half your rep.
Right.
The negative doesn't get anything. It just puts you back in a position to do another heavy positive. And actually, I've learned that it's the positive heavy. It's the heavy weights that really end up injuring you.
Right.
You go heavy and heavy, you wobble out of the groove, and you pull something. So I've been through all of that, and I've learned all about injuries because I've had a lot of them. So I know about how to get them, how to avoid them, and how to treat them.
Yeah. And were you getting the same sort of results in terms of your physique by training that way, where a little bit lighter but slower?
Even more.
Even more, really.
Yeah. I mean, they both work. It's just that one is safer.
Yeah.
More controlled.
Yeah.
Actually, in 1982 was the year that I was in London for the Mr. Olympia that year. And I came in too big. Everybody was saying to me, you need to get bigger. So I figured I'm going to weigh 200 for the show, and I did. But in paying attention to that number, I lost track of getting ultra defined. And so if I was a little bit lighter and more defined, I think I would have won that show easily, but I didn't.
Right.
Because of that. But that was the last time I got heavy.
Yeah.
After that, I just stayed leaner.
Yeah.
Because it was a better look for me.
Yeah.
When you gain weight and get big like that, basically what gets big is this area from nipples to kneecap. It basically is the central part of your body, and that's not what if this gets thicker, the other parts don't get that much more developed.
Right.
You just get blockier in through here, and it doesn't look good. I always look better with more of a taper, smaller waist, more definition.
Yeah.
But that's what you learn along the way.
Yeah.
By the time I was all through competing, I knew a lot. But not so much I could apply for myself, but I could use to help other people. And that's basically when I switched from doing competitive bodybuilding to doing bodybuilding as a method of earning a living, teaching other people, because I have a background as a teacher.
Right.
And I like teaching. It's just that I like the topic of what I'm teaching now better than what I taught before.
Yeah, yeah.
But I know how to teach.
Yeah. And back then in the 70s and 80s, people were, when we spoke about it off camera, but a lot smaller. Were drugs still around then? Was that still part of the sport?
They're just coming into it. It wasn't really much around then, Basically, it was all legal with doctors and prescription and all that.
Right.
And so nobody really went off the deep end with that stuff because there was nothing around to do it with.
Yeah. And what are you, for a lot of people, I guess, are coming in to the business now, and I guess it's a big part of what people think they need to get there. What's your view after, being through, I guess, the whole spectrum? What's your view? If you're in competitive sport, is it something that people should do, but safely? What's your perspective on that?
The way it is now is nobody really, it's a stigma to admit to doing that.
Yeah, yeah.
But the thing is to level the playing field. In bodybuilding, everybody does it.
Right.
These giant monsters you see in shows. I mean, how do you think they got that way? It's not a natural, normal thing, but that's the standard for those competitions. But there are other ones now, like the classic physique competitions and all that. And I really think that it's really best not to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a purpose to hormone replacement as you get older, and you're losing everything. Basically, somebody in their 70s or 80s, for them to be able to work out, they need to have some boost to be able to do that. But what I found at my age, at 75, my testosterone is in the upper 500 level. Now that's enough to build muscle, and I'm totally natural.
Right.
I don't do any of that stuff. I just take a lot of supplements, a lot of free-form amino acids. Really good diet, I always have been, I don't dissipate, I live a healthy life, and I can still build muscle.
Right.
So I'm more concerned about my injuries and being able to keep doing stuff, because I have some injuries that have, that once you get injured, it sort of stays with you and is right on the verge of happening again if you're not careful. So I train around certain things I've had surgeries from, so I'm still able to do pretty much what I want to.
And what's you talk about testosterone and having high levels. As you get older, what are some of the key things that people can do to sort of keep that testosterone level high or avoid it dropping down as you age?
Well, one thing is to have it checked every year, have blood work done every year to see where it is.
Yeah.
Like for 70-year-old men, usually it's in 200 level.
Really?
So for me being like 567 last time I had it done, it's, people don't even believe that. But there's certain things you can take that are natural anabolics, like fenugreek seed is one of them.
What's that called?
Fenugreek seed.
Fenugreek seed.
That and DH7 keto DHA is a common prescription for boosting your testosterone.
Right.
And just small. They're all natural. They're natural substances. DHA isn't, but it's a hormone over the counter.
Yeah.
You can get. And I'd say that before people start any of that. First of all, guys in their teens and early 20s, their testosterone is already high. They have enough to do it right now. But as you get older, it basically drops about 1% a year, they say. And so by the time you get, 50s, 60s, it's not much left. But of course, everybody's different. So I'd say get it checked. And then there's always hormone replacement doctors around you can go to for testosterone injections and all that. But I'd say before you consider that, I'd say find the natural way to do it better.
Yeah. And in terms of nutrition and exercise, is there things you can do there to
make your nutrition calorically dense.
Right.
In other words, it's not about, as you get older, it's not about eating a lot of food. It's by eating a modest amount of food, but packed with nutrition.
Right.
And how do you do that? Of course, you make it as good as possible by eliminating junk food. But you supplement with amino acids, vitamins, and minerals. Also, stuff like a lot of people take creatine, for example. It's really not a good thing to do. I mean, it can just retain fluid in your whole body. What it does is it produces ATP in your system, adenosine triphosphate. Take ATP instead. It's one of the keys to longevity is taking, a couple hundred milligrams of ATP a day.
Right.
That's what I do.
Yeah. And in terms of work, for other exercises, you read places about, exercises that can help with that, hormone release. Is there any exercises people should do to keep that levels high of testosterone?
I don't think there's anything directly that does that. I think just the whole general concept of training on a regular basis and not hurting yourself.
Yeah.
And certain, in your workout, you want to, basically, there are exercises that will help large areas grow. We call them compound movements, things like bench press, deadlift, squat. And they're good for getting a large area, but also you have to, basically, your workout should consist of maybe, this is what I did. My first, like on my back biceps forms day, my first exercise was deadlift from the knees up with a wide grip. It's a modified version of what they do in powerlifting. Okay, it's not that.
Okay.
With reverse grip, it's wide grip with straps. And that I found tend to make my shoulders wider and back thicker, but not build vertical heights to my traps. And so I would do that as my mass exercise, and then I would do more specialized movements for the back as well after that. On the leg day, it would be squatting. Then leg extension, leg curl, there's others in there too. And on the chest day, it would be bench press, or actually more of a low incline bench press.
Right. Why is that? Just where it hits the chest?
It gets a bigger area. It gets more upper pecs than it does lower.
Right.
So then I go by photos, what I look like in my ongoing photo sessions, how it's shaping up so I can see what's still needed work.
Yeah.
Looking at my back a lot, for example. You see, the thing is, if you go to a contest, you'll see everybody has pretty good fronts standing up. When they turn around to the back, that's where people can get eliminated because you can't see your back.
Right.
And awareness is the first step. And so you have to see what your back looks like and then work it and feel it and see it changing, all that stuff. Like, for example, tensing those muscles. If you want to get all those little muscles out, you have to flex them a lot the last couple of weeks, like the back double bicep pose, holding it for longer periods of time.
Right.
And then using posing as part of your workout, that's a different kind of work. It's like isometric workout.
Right.
All that counts.
Right.
It's like my bodybuilding equation where it says your success is equal to the product of the effort you put into your exercise, your attitude, your recuperation, and your nutrition. You got to attend to all of those details.
Right. And coming back to the posing competition, if we go to the Olympia competitions, which one of those would you say was the sort of the one, I guess from your perspective, the one that you most enjoyed or got the most greatest satisfaction out of?
Well, all of them really, but it was better each year, and probably my highlight was 79,
right.
Best year. Should have retired after that one.
Really?
But you never know when to stop.
No.
You don't. There's no where do you stop, That's why I was wondering about your title of dissolve barriers? What did you say?
Escape your limits.
Escape your limits. Now, I was thinking about that. I don't think you can ever escape your limits, but you can expand your limits.
Right.
But the thing is, you do have limits, and you always will. And as you get older, you become more limited. Okay? Now, to think that you can still do the same thing you did when you're in your 20s or in your 70s, you're going to find out that's not true.
Right.
And the way you find out is by getting injured.
Right.
And so I'm against anything that leads to injury, and I'm not trying to escape everything. I know my limits are what's containing me.
Right.
But I do want to expand that.
Right, okay. And the difference between escaping them and expanding them, when you say expand your limits, what do you mean by that then?
You're less limited.
Okay.
Your limits, they're not here, they're out here.
Yeah.
They're a little bit more.
And do you think people, like, one of the questions I was going to ask, and we'll bring it up now, it seems like a good point, but a lot of people seem to be, they have their own sort of mental limits that they set for themselves, but in most cases people have got the ability to do way more than that. What's your views on kind of, I suppose, society saying, well, this is what you can do, and I know in your case, in terms of bodybuilding, I read the story about, your father was very much, cut the grass, that'll kind of get you in shape, and maybe if you'd have listened to some of the people around you, you may not have achieved what you had.
It's funny, the man telling me that was, he had a great physique, but he was younger, because I have a structure.
Right.
And, of course, when he was telling me that, he didn't look like that. He was overworked and drank and smoked and all that stuff. And so, but, basically, it was falling on deaf ears. I was already tuned into what I was after.
Yeah.
I knew that it felt good, and it was what I wanted to do.
Right. And how would you apply that to people, I suppose, that may have the potential to be doing a lot more than what you think that they should do? Is there any examples in your life where, I guess, people around you or the general perception is that's, you should be there, but you had the, mentally you felt that, no, that's not my limit, and I can do something that people don't think is possible?
That was always a sort of motivation for me, because nobody ever told me, you can do it, you have everything it takes. Nobody ever told me that.
Right.
They all said, why are you doing that? What are you, queer? You shaving your legs, you fairy? On and on and on. It's just constant, especially when I lived in Pennsylvania. That's all I ever got. I couldn't wait to leave.
Right. Couldn't
wait to leave. And then I got more accepted. I was able to find contact who had similar goals to me, and I'd say, go where you're appreciated.
Right.
That was motivation for me to get away from it. Not having to contend with that negativity all the time, because if that's what you think, then you're right. If you think it's not possible, you're right. You've already created your self-fulfilling prophecy. Don't try to rub it off on me, because I'm not there with that.
No.
What's the truth? I don't know. I don't know what's possible. I'm curious, though. I want to see where this leads. That's always been my attitude on stuff like that.
Where did that come from? Is that just something you had inside you, or did you learn to become more mentally positive? I don't know.
I can't tell. I'm not so much looking for where it came from as how I can use it.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, just that attitude. The thing is, there's no such thing as being. There's only becoming. Everything is changing all the time, and we have become something else always.
Okay.
And so how are we going to reinvent ourselves
on
an ongoing basis?
When you say there's nothing as being,
Nothing stays the same. It's not as is always. It's changing constantly by the second.
And how do you then, because I know we talked earlier about meditation. How, and I don't meditate, but from what I understand, it's very much being in the now and not being somewhere else. How does what you've just said link into meditation, where you're not thinking that you're somewhere else?
How do you do that?
How do you do that? Yeah.
I wrote a jingle about that, and actually it was a part of a movie that I got paid for. And it was basically called The Present. The present is a microsecond fiction. Now you see it, now you don't. I can't even put it into diction. The present's just not here anymore. The present won't stay while time slips away. And so there's no such thing as the present. Show me the present. There it is, it's gone. And so what does that mean? Basically, what meditation is emptying your mind.
Right.
It's just emptying out. Now, how do you do that? Basically, I use a mantra. That's why I have these beads. Basically, when I say my mantra, I advance the beat, and it helps me remember to keep doing it. I do that every morning for at least a half hour to an hour when I get up, because I get up early. And I've been saying, I have several mantras I use, but my main mantra, which I call my default mantra, because my consciousness defaults to that in ordinary moments instead of just letting my mind wander all over the place. The mantra keys in. I've said it I've made a vow in 1976 to say it 1 million times a year. And I did when I was competing, and now I'm up to 30 million times total since 76.
Why did you decide to do that?
Because it worked.
Because it worked. Was it again, we spoke about this earlier, was it because you were trying to move away from something that you didn't like that you were doing, or moving towards
I'd studied it a lot.
Okay.
I'd studied a lot and learned about the different forms of meditation, tried them all, and just experienced all kind of different things with personal growth systems, on and on. And then I discovered saying a mantra was maybe probably the most useful, because, we use words, we think in words, we have words and sounds running through consciousness all the time. If I can control that verbiage.
Right.
And it especially became apparent to me in 1979, my last year that I won the Olympia, because the last month I had a house in Palm Springs that was really a gym, that I went the last month and lived there and just trained and got sun and ran at night. And I noticed that if I didn't say my mantra, I would be distracted with thinking about what my competition might be. What if so-and-so looked like that? What if this? What if? All these what-if situations. And then I realized that made no difference at all. The only thing that mattered is distracting me. What really mattered is what I did. It didn't make any difference about what anybody else did, because that was I was beyond my control.
Right.
And what I learned is, don't worry about those people. They'll find a way to screw up on their own. There's nothing I have to do to help that along. All I have to do is work on myself. And so I focused on my mantra. And I noticed, like, the last week before I left, I was in such a blissful, calm place that nothing could bring me down. And I went back to Ohio like that and maintained that attitude the whole time, and just blew the competition away with that attitude, because I knew.
Right.
I already knew. See, the whole thing to winning is to win ahead of time. One of the mantras is, I have already won. Now, in 77, when I hadn't already won, I had to convince myself that I was the winner. And so I did so in my advertising. I advertised 77 Year of Zane. And when anybody asked me what my chances were, I said, well, it's my intention to win. There's no chance involved. It's my intention.
Yeah.
And it went on, and then I won, and I was already Mr. Olympia, so I've already won. And in 78, the same way, and 79, I went all out, because I wanted a 3 in a row, and I got in really incredible shape.
Right. And so was that mantra part of the competing stage of you preparing mentally for going into that?
Just to clear my mind out.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, I say it so much, I wake up saying it most mornings.
Really?
And then I meditate saying it. And I have different, actually I have workouts for my mind as well as you got all the stuff for the gym. But basically I have what's called Mind Gym, where I use light sound techniques. They're called entrainment techniques.
Right.
Entrainment means you subject your body to certain frequencies, vibrational pulses, and your body's rhythmic systems, your resonant bodies, natural resonant systems like your breathing, your pulse, nerve impulses, transmission, peristalsis, all those things line up with it.
Right.
And the process,
machine or something? Is it?
yeah, we call mind muscle machines. They're like a pair of sunglasses with lights, LED lights on the inside, and they flash different rates. And basically, you get into different states of consciousness and alertness. The faster ones basically energize you. The slower ones make you drowsy. Then there's some frequencies that are very good, like there's the Earth's vibrational frequency, the Schumann resonance frequency, 7.83 hertz.
Right.
It's also the frequency where your brainwaves pass from alpha wave into theta waves, solar waves. There's one called gamma frequencies, 40 hertz.
Right.
It's been found that that frequency dissolves beta amyloid plaques in rats. That's the Alzheimer's plaque.
Right.
So there may be implication for Alzheimer's disease prevention in humans with the 40 hertz frequency. And I do this stuff. I've been doing it for years.
And so does that sort of impress the frequencies onto your body or your brain? It does, right. And then the reverse then, when you say those things, does that change your frequency as well then, if you're saying those positive mantras?
It calms it down. It gives you more coherence, where more of your body, when your body's in train, everything is vibrating to that.
Right.
And it's a process that mechanical organisms do and living organisms do too. But people have forgotten how to do it.
Right.
But if you look at birds flying, for example, when they fly long distances, they're flying in formation, their wings flapping at the same rate because it's easier. They go on cruise control. So I go on cruise control with this. Basically, I am trained to certain frequencies.
Right. And how did that work then? So I guess, in terms of the, working with your mind, doing the 3 Olympias, how does that work when you didn't achieve what you wanted? So when you lost, for example, how did you sort of deal with that mentally?
I let life get in the way.
You let life get in the way.
It's almost when you grow through personal growth. Also, I think it's a blessing, but it's also can be a curse too.
Right.
And like after, basically there were certain things I didn't deal with, and one of them was anger. My anger was under control, but then in 1980, I had this outburst of anger and basically had a bad accident and fell in the swimming pool, smashed my urethra, ended up going in the Olympia anyway at a lighter body weight, still in